A couple of weeks ago, we had a video about uncontracted players at the end of this year, and we were predicting, who's going to get another contract, who's going to get delisted, and things like that. What I want to do now is look to the future of who is going to retire and who is going to play on. Let's jump into it. Before we jump into it, just want to say thank you so much for the support on my previous video about me quitting my job and going to Europe and pursuing or trying to pursue content creation full time. I love you all so much, and I wouldn't be where I am today without your love and your support, and it means an absolute world to me. I've gotten a couple of DMs on Instagram about it, and a couple of guys said it on the YouTube comments as well. I'm bringing back in memberships now that I don't have a full-time job, and YouTube's going to be paying for my way from here on in for the foreseeable future. I'm introducing 3-tiered memberships. I did it before, and I stopped it because I felt bad because I wasn't giving you guys the content that you were paying for properly. And now, with no job and all this time, literally spare time in the world, I can give you what you guys deserve. So I've got 3 tiers. The first tier is the Swooper Trooper tier. So that's just $2.99. You get priority reply to comments, member shoutouts, and then every one of these tiers will get this, and you get some loyalty badges and some emoji badges of me. The second tier, so the middle tier, is the Flock tier. So you get everything from that first tier, and you get member-only live streams, early access to new videos, member shoutouts, member-only live chats, and priority reply to comments. So that was the 2 things from the previous one. And the last tier is the Swoop U tier. So this is a monthly video collab tier. So pretty much what this tier will do is, let's just say one person on this tier, it's Ben. Ben is going to do a video with me of his choosing, and it's going to go up on the main channel, which is huge. So it's a Swoop U tier. So it's just a collaborative video, 10-15 minutes on whatever you want to talk about over the pies. We'll work it, we'll script it, and I'll do that for every single person that is on this tier. So that's pretty cool. But everything else is going to be free, so you don't have to join membership. If you do, it just helps me out a little bit, but you don't have to join. I'm still doing everything that I'm doing normally. You just get a bit of those perks. But yeah, if you can, amazing. If you can't, totally understand. And let's just get into this video. So like I said, this video is going to be about our over 30s pretty much, who are retiring, or who I think will be retiring next year, who I think will be playing on, and who it really depends on if they have a good season or not. So going into next year, we will have 8 players over 30 that have their contracts up at the end of 2025. In saying that, we will have other players that will be 30. We've got 3 more players that will be in their 30s in 2025. Jack Crisp will be 31 in 2025, but he's contracted until 2026. Darcy Cameron will be 30 in 2025, but he's contracted until 2026. Dan McStay will be 30 in 2025, and he's contracted until 2027. So we're not counting those guys because they are contracted. We are going to be talking about Steele Sidebottom, Mason Cox, Checkers, Jamie Elliott, Jeremy Howe, Will Hoskin-Elliott, Tom Mitchell, and Scott Pendlebury. They're the guys that are uncontracted at the end of 2025. Let's look at it now. So the first guy we're looking at is Steele Sidebottom. Now, Steele had a slow start to the year. All the players really had a slow start to the year. But what I liked about Steele is he reinvented himself twice. Reinvented himself off the half-back line, which I really liked, seeing a lot of the ball, bit of the general down there. Then they moved Josh Dacos down there, and they had to find another role for Steele. Then he became a tagger, and I'll keep going back to that Errol Goulden. I know he scored the winning goal against us for Sydney, but I'll keep going to his performance against Errol Goulden. Just absolutely fantastic, and he played that tagger role a little bit more. He's obviously contracted until the end of next year. He will be 34 at the start of the year, at the start of the season, sorry. And they're going to put him in a tagger role. He came out and said, Fly wants me to sort of play a tagger role. You might see me more as a tagger next season. And I love that because Collingwood don't typically play a tagger. But if we could get Steele, who is very smart with the ball, and in that tagger role, I'd love to see that next year. But will he retire at the end of the year? Will he play on? Or, does it really depend on his form? I really think Steele Sidebottom, he's going to be the first one that I put into the depends category. Now, The Depends is pretty much a 50-50, right? It can go either way. I can see Steele Sidebottom if he starts losing out to guys like Ed Allen or whoever else we sort of have that can sort of play that role. Let's just say Finn McRae's still there, and Steele's losing out to Finn McRae or Demetia or something like that. I could see Steele, retiring at the end because his body just can't keep up with it because these young kids are going past him. But if he keeps getting chosen because he's better than these young kids, one, what does it say about the young kids? But two, I could see him playing on in this role. So it really is a 50-50 line ball on Steele. The next guy we're looking at is Mason Cox, who will also be 34 at the start of the season. I think this is pretty obvious, this one. Mason Cox, I feel like, will retire at the end of next season. He'll go into an ambassadorial role. Is that ambassadorial? Is that a word? An ambassador role for AFL just in general, and then the AFL with the US. He already does a lot of work with the US AFL. So I think Mason will retire. Tall dude. He just came off a mini ACL that we didn't even know about, and an MCL, broken ribs. His eyes are no good. He has to wear the goggles and stuff. I think he will call it a day. And he's been an absolute trooper. Brody Mychek, the third guy we got here, who will be 32. So he's one of the youngest going into in the over 30s going into next year. So Brody Mychek is an absolute workhorse. We know that this pec that he just tore off the bone has been, I think, his longest injury that he's had since arriving in 2018 as a mature age recruit. I can see Checkers playing on. If he can keep his body right, and he doesn't have these reissues of these sort of shoulder and pec injuries again, I can definitely see him playing on till he's about 34. So I reckon he's still got a couple more seasons left in him. One, because we need him because we don't have any tall forwards, besides Dan McStay and stuff. But I can definitely see him playing on because he's just a workhorse and he'll just keep getting up for it. The next guy I have is Jamie Elliott. Now, I love Elliott. He's going to be 32 at the start of the year. It was just his birthday, I think, last week. So Jamie Elliott, I'm going to put him in 50-50, and I know that that hurts me. That hurts me to put him in there, that he could retire or he could play on. What am I thinking is, when he's on, he's absolutely on, and even in his bad days, he's still on. But the retiring thing for me is that injury that he got with his veins and his foot going really numb, and it took him months to sort of get better with that. Is that going to be a reoccurring thing, or have they fixed that? I think if his body doesn't hold up, and all of these guys pretty much are going to be if their body doesn't hold up. But I really think that if Jamie Elliott can play on, I would absolutely love that. But I see Jamie Elliott as this guy if he knows his time's up, his time might be up, he'll go back to the country, play for some country football or something like that. I would love him to play on, but I think it's a 50-50 line ball call if he plays on in 2026 or not. Jeremy Howe. Now, Jeremy Howe triggered a clause. He played 14 games this season, so he triggered a clause for next year. He's going to be 34 at the start of the season. We know he came off that insane 2023, and he, with that huge injury, he nearly retired. Then he goes on, he wins a premiership, breaks his ribs in the premiership, in the grand final, goes on to win a premiership. I could see this being Jeremy Howe's last season, especially because, we've got TJ, we've got Charlie Dean, these guys sort of coming up, and they could still learn off him. I'd love to see him in a developmental role maybe, but I could see Jeremy Howe as one of the retirees of these over 30s at the end of 2025. Will Hoskin-Elliott. Now, Will Hoskin-Elliott, I think, so Will Hoskin-Elliott will be 31 at the start of the year. I've got Will Hoskin-Elliott as playing on. He hasn't lost a step. He's our Swiss Army knife. He does everything that we need him to do. And he's only getting better with age. He's kind of like Pendlebury. Fine wine, right? You can put him anywhere. Halfback, in the middle, up forward if you need him to. So I love our Swiss Army Will, our Will Army knife. I've got him playing on, definitely. I know he's a bit of a whipping boy sometimes, but I've got him playing on for another few years at least. That 31 age bracket definitely helps him. Now, Tom Mitchell. He's 31 at the start of the year. I love Tom. I've interviewed him a couple of times. I've talked to him a couple of times, ran into him. I keep saying that he's Luke Ball 2.0 for us. He helped. You know, we don't have him. We don't win the premiership last season. Um, this is hard, and these are hard videos. I've got Tom Mitchell as retiring, and I got him retiring because this foot injury, he's still not fully recovered from it. It's been quite a while. Then he's had his, you know, his the appendix stuff and stuff like that, and just ongoing injuries. If he can play on, 100%, I would love him to play on. Maybe put him in the depends, but I don't want to sit on the fence. I don't want to sit on the fence. I think this one's hard, but I'm going. This is a hard call, but I'm going to I'm gonna leave him in the retiring section. And, you know, he's got Ball Magazine, he's got all these other business ventures outside of football that will start taking up more of his time, and he's definitely going to start focusing on that more, and I would love for him to focus on that more. Ball Magnets is incredible. Check it out if you haven't checked it out already. But I got him retiring, and I think some of the kids are just going to go slightly above him, especially if we get, you know, I know it's probably not going to happen, but if we're getting like a Peatling or a Hobbs or someone like that, they're just going to go maybe above Mitchell in the pecking order. I still haven't seen any off-season content. I know he's on holiday now, but of him running or anything like that. So I've got him retiring, and that really hurts because I love all these guys, but I love Mitchell. Now, the last guy. Scott Pendlebury will be 37 by the time the new season starts. Scott Pendlebury could be in any of these three categories. Scott Pendlebury has said he will retire if he doesn't feel up to it, but he's playing still at 36 at the moment. He is playing like he's 27, 28. At the end of the year, next year, if he plays every game, he still won't have the games record yet for most AFL games. And I know that's probably a little bit motivating for him. He keeps coming out and saying that he won't play on just because he wants to get there, because it's not about that personal achievement for him to beat Boomer's record. But if by the end of the year he's still playing good football and he's still in the first team, I don't even reckon this is a depends, because is it a selfish thing for me to say I want him to play on to? It's selfish for me to say, yeah, it is, that I want him to play on to have that game's record. I'm not sitting on the fence with this one. I'm putting Scott Pendlebury as play on. I just can't see him slowing down. And the thing about Scott Pendlebury slowing down, I can't see him slow. He's always slow. If his brain starts turning off and starts slowing down, if he's making a lot of errors that are un-Scott Pendlebury-like, that's when you probably do have him in that retiring category. But for now, I've got him playing on in 2026, getting that games record, but I don't even think it's just about that. I think it's just about he's still one of the best in this game and one of the best in the team. And I think in a way, I'm still clinging on to my childhood through Scott Pendlebury, because I was in year 7 when Pendles played his first game. So when he retires, a part of me will retire with him. My childhood will retire with him, and I probably am holding on to that a little bit more. But I do think he plays on into 2026 and gets that games record. But look, that's who I've got retiring. Mason Cox, Jeremy Howe, Tom Mitchell, playing on Checkers, Woolhoskin Elliott, and Scott Pendlebury, and 50-50 line ball call on Steele Sidebottom and Jamie Elliott. Did I get them right? Let me know your thoughts down below. This is going to be a bit of a time capsule. We'll look at it on the 13th of September 2025 and see if I was right, see if I was wrong. Let me know your thoughts down below. But until then, like, comment, subscribe, tell your family, tell your friends, tell your pets, and until next time, double shackers. I'll swoop you later.